Hey, what's up guys? This is Philip. I'm coming at you. Today we're going to be doing basic maintenance on the 2026 Nissan Z. So what we're going to be doing is an oil change. I'm going to go over how to do it. Pretty basic task, but hey, for those that have never done it before, feel happy to follow along. Another reason why I am making this video is this is an opportunity for me to test out the new camera. We're upgrading. Before we've been using the GoPro Hero 12, which I do like that camera. However, today I'm shooting on the Sony Alpha 6700, so it is quite a change from the GoPro. We're still using the GoPro for action shots, but I should be able to get better video quality and audio by using this new setup. Hello people, welcome under my Nissan Z. To do the oil change to get to the drain pan and the filter, which is under here, you only need to undo these 4 bolts back here. These are all 10 millimeter. If you undo these 4, the panel will bend right here in this crease, and you can pull it back and hold it open with a bungee cord or a piece of rope. So I'll show you how to do that. For today's demonstration, I am going to take this entire panel off, but that's only because if I pull this back, which is how I changed oil last time, I can get to everything, but it's going to look really garbagey trying to film it. So we're going to take everything off, but that's the only reason why. I'm going to start by just taking off this back panel to show exactly what I'm talking about, and that yes, it works really well. So once again, nothing special going on here. They're just 10 millimeter bolts, and they're really not cinched down that tight at all. For the astute observer, you might notice that my t-shirt changed from my intro to the video to right now, and that's because I realized I was about to crawl underneath the car in like one of my better t-shirts. Alright, 1 bolt to go. Okay, so with these back 4 bolts out, this is actually all I need in order to access the oil pan. So as you can see, it pulls back, and then here's my drain plug, and then my filter is right above it right here. So I can take a bungee cord and show that you can hold this open. You can get in here and you can knock your oil change out. So to show what I'm talking about, I've grabbed a bungee cord. I'm gonna hook it right here, and we can hook it on the grill, and it's as such. So I'll bring it outside here so you can see. And as simple as that, that'll hold it in place. It's not hurting the car at all. Very easy to get undone. But you can do your oil change, and no, you do not need to take the entire panel off. However, for the purpose of filming today, I'm going to take this whole panel off. Alright, so the only downside is when you take the whole panel off, there are just a ton of bolts you got to undo. That's where those aftermarket pans are real nice. Like I said, I looked at both the CYZ and the Z1. I put the Z1 Motorsports pan on my son's 350Z. It's a nice solid piece. The problem with it is it uses spacers in between the bolt to get the proper clearance. So even on the service panel, every time you undo the bolts to get to the drain plug and the oil filter, you got these spacers that you have to shimmy in and out. Versus the Concept Z Performance pan, it's just 2 Zeus fasteners that pop undone. That's all there is to it. That's why I was looking at the Concept Z. But at least for the month of June, $400 after shipping just isn't part of my monthly financials. Alright, 1 more. Alright, and that's it. Well, my cover's out of the way. And now we can see everything nice and easy. We're going to remove our oil drain plug. This is not the stock one. This is a Z1 Motorsports magnetic plug. So I did my initial oil change at 1200 miles. I put this drain plug on at that time. And in my case, it is a 14 millimeter. Torque spec on it is 22 to 27 foot-pounds of torque. I set mine at 25, right in the middle. So let's get this off. Let our oil start draining. And since this is a magnetic drain plug, hey, we'll see if there's any chunks of bearing or God knows what on it. Hopefully there's nothing on it. So if we take a look, yay, happiness for us. There's no metal sludge on the end of my drain plug. And then my oil's coming out. Looks pretty good. I'm not too surprised by that. I mean, this oil is 1,800 miles old, so Nissan tells you to change the oil every 10,000 miles. If it's a lease or if you just really don't care about your car, by all means, feel free to go with that interval. If you look on the online forums and Nissan forums, vast majority of people talk about changing their oil somewhere in the 5,000 mile range. Me personally, even though I'm using synthetic, I've always changed my oil every 3,000 miles. I've had very good luck with that. Some people may call it overkill. I don't really care. This is my car and I'm the one underneath it changing the oil. So that's how I run my business. So far it's been pretty good for me and I haven't had any issues by using that more frequent maintenance schedule. So we're going to let this continue to drain, and then next is we're going to get this filter out right here. There we go, we'll get the filter undone. The torque spec on the filter, it's somewhere like 11 to 17 foot-pounds. I put it on basically hand tight, which is going to put me right in that realm. So you can tell it didn't take too much force to get it off, but it wasn't leaking. So we're going to let this stuff drain and we'll prep our new filter. We're using the Nissan 65 F1E. This is also known as the red filter, sometimes called the Mexico filter. Lots of opinions on the online forums about which is best. I haven't had any issues with this yet. So this is the more common, to get the blue one or the Japanese manufactured filter. It's kind of difficult to find and you're going to pay for it if you do. I also have new crush washer. So we're going to take the old crush washer off the Z1 Motorsports drain plug. Just kind of shimmy a fingernail under there, get it going, and then you can unscrew it. And then we're going to put a new crush washer in its place. So I have a new crush washer in. One other thing on this car, one added step that we have to do that a lot of y'all may not need to worry about, is because I have the Mishimoto catch can here at oil change time is the perfect time to drain the catch can and see what we got. So we're going to do that real quick. I'm going to show you how we do it. So to empty the Mishimoto catch can, what we're going to do, the bracket is held on by 10mm bolts. We're going to loosen our bracket. We don't need to take the bolts out, we just need to loosen them. That gives me just enough room where I can slide this up. You notice I don't even need to disconnect any of these, and then we'll just unscrew it. I will tell you, be very careful when you unscrew this. Oil residue that's in a catch can absolutely reeks. It smells like worse than gear oil. It's got almost an exhaust whiff to it. If you take a look, I do have some oil in my catch can. Once again, not a crazy amount of oil, but for 1,800 miles, we're looking at probably 5 milliliters. If we didn't have this catch can, this oil right here would have been like dumped right into the intake and it would be sitting on the backside of my valves. We're going to dump this, wipe it out real quick with a rag, and then we'll reinstall. I've emptied my catch can. I used a little bit of brake cleaner, made sure the outside didn't have any residue on it, wiped it off. So we'll screw this back in. And as I'm doing that, I'm double checking, making sure my O-ring looks good, and it does. So we want this snug right about there. Okay, we don't want to crank the living crap out of it. And then we're going to slide it back into position. When in doubt, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Crank our bolts back down. There we go. So I got a second 10mm just to hold that in place. It's good and tight on both sides. Nothing too crazy though, because remember, this is plastic right here. We're done with that portion of the job. And now, I like to prime the filter, so I'm going to put a little bit of oil in it. This is another one where, you know what, sometimes people just get violently butthurt for I don't know what reason. I was pontificating on one of the motorcycle forums about how retarded it is to pre-charge a filter. I don't know what to tell you. I've been doing it forever, and I'm going to do it today. We're using, once again, our Motul 0W20 Asian blend. Yes, I use the 0W20 even though I live in Texas, which is a hot climate. I have read the benefits of using a thicker weight oil, but so far haven't had any issues. For today, we're going with the 020. But that being said, I'm not using like trash oil. I'm using something decent, which is why we're putting the Motul in. So I'm going to give it one fill. It's going to make its way down. The amount of oil I put in probably filled half of this. I don't want to do any more than that because I am going to turn this thing sideways to put it into the car. But I'm going to get a little bit of clean oil, and I'm going to lube the O-ring up top. See, a lot of times people, they stick their hand in, they grab that nice, nasty ass dirty oil, and then rub the O-ring. I am absolutely not for doing that, mostly because you have contaminants. You might have little bits of metal, who knows what you have. But it's not clean, and now you've taken any of those contaminants and just rubbed it on that O-ring mating surface, and you might have contaminated that O-ring. And if you contaminated that O-ring, then you run a larger chance of having a leak. So I always use fresh, clean oil when I lube that O-ring. We should be done draining underneath. We're going to get this drain plug reinstalled. It's going to be 25 foot-pounds, and we're going to get this filter back on as well. So we're back underneath the car. So we're going to get the drain plug started first, and we do have our new crush washer on it. And I always like to hit it with just a touch of brake cleaner. Get that residue off. And we're going to snug it down by hand first. And as we snug it down by hand, that new crush washer is going to seat. Washer is crushed. I can start to feel the torque rise. And at this point, we're going to switch and we're going to put our torque wrench on. And like I said, 25 foot-pounds is what I'm looking for. Always torque check your drain plug because you've got a metal insert and a plastic pan. And you do not want to over-torque this. There we go. That's 25 foot-pounds. I'm gonna spray a little bit of brake cleaner on my paper towel. I'm gonna wipe up the mating surface for my oil filter. We'll get this started. Now, I think I said earlier that this is 11 to 17 foot-pounds. I lied. It's 11 to 15. If you have an adapter to go on the end of this filter where you can hook it up to your torque wrench, by all means. For me, I put it down hand tight. I've seen one like the Z1 video where the dude's like, good. I'm like, no, not good. So I put it nice and snug by hand, like so. So it's decently hand tight. Now, if you remember at the beginning of the video when I undid it, I did not have to use a lot of torque to get this filter undone. It wasn't leaking, which is exactly how I want it, but it didn't need a lot of pressure. So we don't want to give it the, oh, it touched and let's call it good. You do want it to have a little bit of snugness there. The by the book would be 11 to 15 foot-pounds. To be honest, you're probably not going to get more than that by hand tightening. So since I'm under here, this is a me thing. I was just kind of clean everything up. Since I got the car apart, might as well make it look pretty. I'm going to put the oil in with this under panel still off. We're going to turn the car on to make sure we have no leaks coming out of here or here. And then, if we're leak-free, then we're going to put this pan on and we'll be done with the job. The next task is to put oil in it. This is the actual owner's manual out of the car. And if we look, it'll tell you the capacity is 5.3 liters or 5 5/8 quarts. When I did the 1,200 mile oil change, I'm going to be honest, it was like almost dead nuts at 6 quarts exactly. So these containers from Motul are 5 liters. So one container ain't gonna cut it. You're gonna need a second one. So we're gonna put this in, we're gonna top it off with 0.3 liters from a second container. And then we'll fire the car up and make sure that we don't have any leaks going on. As far as funnels go, I have a tall funnel right here. It does seat inside of the valve cover. So I'm not worried about pouring oil all over the place. So you don't need to spend big money on a screw-on oil funnel. You just need to make sure that you have a funnel that fits into the opening. Alright, there's 5 liters, 0.3 to go. Perfect. Alright, so at this point we're going to put our cap back on. Alright guys, so we're under the car is running. Quick check. I don't feel anything leaking here, and I don't feel anything leaking here. So I have nothing leaking from my drain plug, and I have nothing leaking from my oil filter. So I've actually had the car running for about 2 minutes now. Everything is looking good. I feel comfortable buttoning this thing up and calling this job complete. 12, 13, 14, 16. There's 16 of these bolts in case you were wondering, plus 3 of the push pins. We'll get a couple of these screws started to help hold everything in place. So we're going to get like 3 corners just to... There we go. So that's enough to hold it in place. And to be honest, if we put our push pins back in, that'll hold it much nicer. Alright, we're back where we started. So, This panel is back in place. So we're gonna get this car off of the ramps, and then one thing I do want to show is, if you notice my car's on Rhino ramps, I do have pieces of plywood. This is my spacer. It's maybe 3/8 of an inch thick. It's enough to raise it up just a couple millimeters, which is all I need. So if I put that behind my ramp, when I roll this car off the ramp, it's not gonna scrape on the Rhino ramp. And that's how I can get it on the ramps as well. So I use this piece of wood as my little spacer. It's the same piece of wood that I use to drive the front tires up so I can get room for my Daytona jack to go underneath. But it works for the Rhino ramps as well. So you don't necessarily need to spend big money on like race ramps. Just a little bit of ingenuity and some cheap plywood, and Rhino ramps will work just fine. I think I'm right about at the full mark. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to reset our maintenance indicator. So we're going to go into settings. So you can see where I've got my settings display right here. And I hit the OK. From my settings, I've got yada yada yada. We're going to go down to right here where it says maintenance. And where it says maintenance, we're going to hit OK. Oil and filter, yes please. So we want to hit reset, confirm reset, yes. So for my oil and filter, I'm going to do the remind me. I was curious about this. I'm going to do the remind me in 3,000 miles. Okay. And the reason why I say remind me in 3,000 miles is then when I go to oil control system, it's going to be engine oil service due 50 miles. Oh no, that's trying to tell me that's my 10,000 mile oil reset. Let's say to hell with that. Let's hit OK and reset that. Confirm reset, yes please. Alright, so engine oil service due, look at that, it says 9,941 miles. That's disgusting. So once again, oil control system, the factory always goes 10,000, which is crazy. That is how we set our maintenance. So I've reset that I did the oil change, and then I set a reminder for another 3,000 miles from now. Alright guys, so this is going to bring an end to my oil change video. If you made it this far, I appreciate y'all for watching. As you can see, it's a relatively simple task, even when you add in changing a catch can. I hope that this was helpful for somebody out there that maybe want to do their own oil change at home. And until next time, y'all take care.